if you suddenly bring 10,000 fans into the stadiums for those final games, does it impact the integrity in any way?
It might help in a bit of a relegation battle if a team needs a point to stay up or something like that. You'd rather have 10,000 fans than not. So in terms of that, it'll be a bit unfair. As you say, there's been fans throughout the season at different spots in stadiums, albeit not that many, and it didn't really make that much of a difference. I think there's nothing worse in football than an empty stadium. Like I'll speak from an example. Let's talk Hearts Hibs here. There's a period of nearly 10 years where Hibs never won a game. So their stadium, a capacity of around about 20,000, only ever had about 5,000 people in it. That's worse than no fans. So I don't think it really matters in terms of integrity.
Fulham versus Newcastle, Marley, is one of the games that is slated for that final weekend, and probably one of the more interesting games on that final weekend, because it could well be a straight relegation shootout by that point. It'll be Fulham that's at home in that case, with a packed Craven Cottage, well, packed full of 10,000 fans, as packed as that makes it. Do you feel as a Newcastle fan that would give the opposition an unfair advantage in that scenario?
In that scenario, if it came down to it, yeah, I do, because it's such a short, impact time. You know, the 90 minutes of the entire season happens to be the most important 90 minutes. If the season ended tomorrow, you know, then relegation would completely rely on what happened in that game. So to give one team 10,000 fans, or I don't know if it would be 10,000 fans, it'd be 25% of Craven Cottage because it's the size of a car park. But yeah, it's going to be 25% full, and it's going to be a massive advantage for them, because the 90 minutes that you would need fans is that 90 minutes in that game. If you were to choose one game of the season where fans could have an impact, it will be the one which everything's riding on, and there's nothing bigger than Premier League survival.
But it's not. It doesn't come down to that game, though, does it? Because it comes down to the 38 games that preceded it.
Well, yeah, but 37 games preceded it didn't have fans, so you know why then put fans in for that one last game? I think that becomes an advantage. That is difference from the previous 37. If it's 37 out of 8, what is one more game? Like, surely it's hard even as well for clubs to logistically set out, you know, who gets the tickets, the 25, who's the lucky 25%, some sort of Willy Wonka style golden ticket thing. Like, it's weird to have, you know, you've got season ticket holders that have that are gonna be like, well, I didn't expect to go and see a game today, but if there is one, then I should go. And then there's everything. There's the away fans as well, which I think we haven't had a detailed plan of how this is going to be put into force yet. But I would assume that away fans aren't part of the 10,000 or 25% because of the way everything else is. It just makes no sense for them to chuck away fans in because it's just a pilot, really. It's just a pilot event, so why would you put 10,000 away some of the away fans in as well? Because then you're just increasing the likelihood of any sort of spread, because you've got people coming from Newcastle down to London, stopping all the way down on the trains and all the rest of it, and you know it just becomes a bit of a like shooting yourself in the foot type of thing. So as well with that, you know, no away fans, loads of home fans, and if it comes down to that game, which you shouldn't do, because you should never be going into a one last game of the season without without your survival intact.
Newcastle will be down well before that.
Very much so. Could well be.